Hey Bayside students, welcome back. We're so glad that you are here. Tonight we've got week 3 of More Than a Building. Before we jump into some great content tonight, do us a favor, hit subscribe. Make sure you're following this channel. We've got lots of incredible content hitting that head, heart, and humor over the coming weeks. And do us a favor, head over to the chat right over there and drop in your favorite emoji. We've all been on our phones. We've been all doing this 100% digital thing for a few weeks now. And let us know what your favorite emoji is right now. And we'd love to be able to connect with you over there. Tonight, we've got a new bit that we're really excited about. We'll call it a game show of sorts. And then to follow that, we'll have week 3 of More Than a Building. So go grab your favorite snack, pull up a chair, sit back, relax, and enjoy.
What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to the game show. Let's go. Tonight's edition is called 5 Second Rule. We have 3 contestants. Let me introduce them. Number 1 is Jacob Erickson.
Hey, what's up?
Number 2 is Tara Green.
Let's do it.
Is the one and only Parker Johnston.
Let's go.
Here's how this game's gonna work. I'm gonna list a challenge. Their job is to try and see if they can list the items in 5 seconds. If they don't, they will be cut off. Audience, you in the chat, we need you to help participate. That means put your comments, thumbs up, thumbs down, help them out. Help them get it right. The winner, oh man, gets a pizza party, and the loser has to post a middle school photo of their face on Instagram tomorrow. Are you ready? Round 1. Oh, last item. We need you to do a cam grab in order to ding in so that I can call on you to list the items. Here we go. 5 seconds. Number 1, list 3 movie dogs. Go. Yeah.
Movie dogs. Oh, so hard.
Here we go.
Tara Green.
You're gonna go with Lassie, Spot, and Chase.
Oh, she did it! Round 2.
Good job.
Here we go. We need you to sing 2 lines from a Christmas song. Go. Jacob Erickson.
Bells, jingle bells. That's 2, right? Jingle all the way.
Oh, you got it. There we go. Round 3. We need you to list 3 names of students. Go. Wow.
Of our students?
Tara Green.
I'm gonna go with Allie, Miranda, and
Cut off.
Sydney.
Sorry. Next one. Round 4. Do 3 dance moves. Go.
Okay.
Parker.
Doing the body roll.
Okay.
Body roll. Then doing the disco. Doing the disco. Then bring it around town.
You are off. You didn't do it in time. Next round. Tell us 1 joke. Go. Jacob.
Knock, knock.
Who's there? You froze. I don't think that's a joke.
That's the joke.
So we're giving you the point. Jacob, 1 point. Here we go. Tara has 1 Jacob on purpose. Here we go.
That was the joke.
Final round. Here we go. List 3 breakup lines. Go. You've never broken up. Jacob Erickson.
It's not me. It's you. It's not you. It's me. I just really need some time for myself to put myself back together, and I just don't want to put that on you, you know?
It was very drawn out, but I will give it to you, and I think you have a winner today. The winner is Jacob Erickson.
Good job, Jacob. Can I get a high five?
Wow. Parker, your penalty is that you lost, so you need to post a middle school photo of yourself, particularly from a dance. That would be nice because your dance moves were like.
Yeah, I got a blonde afro. That's coming your way.
Everyone else, thank you for joining us for tonight's edition of Let's Go. Peace.
What's up, Bayside students? Cameron from Adventure here. Hey, we are in week 3 of our More Than a Building series. Last week, Pastor Gil brought an amazing word on how we're better together, even if sometimes that's digital, even if we can't physically be together, that we are still better together. And this week we're calling Can't Stop, Won't Stop. My question for you is, have you ever had a moment in your life where you went too far? Like you're like, I'm going to get this done. I'm going to do this. And maybe you cross the line. Maybe that's playing Monopoly with your family, whatever that is. For me, it happened a few weeks ago. I actually witnessed this happen. I'm at the gym. I got my headphones on. I'm doing my thing, trying to lose my fresh baby 25 pounds. And all of a sudden, out of the corner of my eye, I see people start running. And I'm like, that's super weird. Like, you're not supposed to run in a gym, right? Unless you're on a treadmill. And I look over, and there's this guy on the bench who was benching over 400 pounds, and he had dropped the bar. He couldn't get it up, and it was on his neck. And he's bald, so his head is like bright red at this point, like the color of my hair all over his face. Bright red. And people had run, and they were on each side of the bar, and they're trying to lift this thing up because this guy's literally being killed by this bar. They pick it up, and he was okay. But I was like, man, that is what happens when you go just a little too far, when you push, and you cross a line. For me, anything competitive, like I don't know how to slow down, don't know how to stop. My wife knows this. We don't play games with each other anymore. But when you look to the Bible, we see a guy that just is this completely. His name's Peter. Peter was an awesome dude. He rolled with Jesus. Peter was bold. He was brave. He was kind of brash. He did things out of order and out of turn sometimes. But when you look at Peter's life, you see such a great playbook and demonstration of what to do when things get chaotic. But more than that, we see how Peter can't stop, won't stop. So when we look at Acts chapter 5, I'm going to skip around a couple verses in this. I encourage you, read the whole thing. I'm just going to pick out a few. Starting in verse 12. It says this: the apostles performed many signs and wonders among the people, and all the believers used to meet together in Solomon's colonnade. No one else dared join them, even though they were highly regarded by the people. Nevertheless, more and more of the men and women believed in the Lord and were added to their number. Then, verse 17, the high priest and all his associates who were members of the party of the Sadducees were filled with jealousy. They arrested the apostles and put them in public jail. But during the night, an angel of the Lord opened the doors of the jail and brought them out. Go stand in the temple courts, he said, and tell the people all about this new life. At daybreak, they entered the temple courts as they had been told and began to teach the people. Then verse 27, the apostles were brought in and made to appear before the Sanhedrin to be questioned by the high priest. We gave you strict orders not to teach in his name, he said, talking about Jesus. Yet you have filled Jerusalem with your teaching and are determined to make us guilty of this man's blood. Peter and the other apostles replied, we must obey God rather than human beings. 3 things to remember from the life of Peter if we're going to live boldly and we're going to live a can't stop, won't stop attitude with our faith. 3 things. The first one is to look out before you look in. You see, wherever Peter was at, whatever he was going through, and he went through a ton. Peter walked on water, but he was also thrown in prison. Peter cut off a guy's ear, but he also denied Jesus 3 times. But whatever circumstance, whatever place Peter was in his life, he was always looking out before he looked in. He was always praying with people first before he was worrying about his own conditions or what he needed. Even when they threw him in jail, he was praying over and saving people in the jail. And I think a lot of times we get into tough circumstances. Maybe you're home from school right now because of what's going on in the world. And before you even think about other people, you're thinking about your own circumstances, your own conditions. I want to challenge you to be like Peter. Peter was always thinking of others first. And when that happens, God is going to use that in amazing ways. And we see that all throughout Peter's life, through him healing people, praying over people, leading people to Jesus, regardless of his circumstances. Whatever you're going through, remember to look out before you look in. That's number 1. The second one is this: wherever you are, be there. I know that sounds crazy, like, Cameron, of course I am where I am, but I saw this ridiculous movie. It's called A Dog's Purpose. I just went because my wife wanted to go, so I suffered through this really weird movie. But at the end of the movie, the dog said something that hit me. He said, "I've discovered my purpose. Be here now." And it hit me like, how many opportunities do we miss because we're not where we are? Our head is somewhere else. We're thinking about the past, what's been done to us, or we're thinking about the future, what we want to do. And we miss the opportunities and the people that God brings into our life because we're not in the present. So I just want to challenge you, just like Peter when he was thrown in prison, wherever you are, be there. Don't be so consumed with every other season of life that you miss the opportunities that God brings you now. So the second one, wherever you are, be there. And then the third and final reminder is simply remember your why. The thing that kept Peter going through all the crazy circumstances in his life, whether he was getting beaten or thrown into prison or he was watching Jesus die, is he remembered his why. And it was exactly what I just said. It was watching Jesus die. He watched Jesus live his life. He watched Jesus turn people's lives around. And then he watched Jesus sacrifice himself for Peter and for all of humanity. And that was Peter's why. That's what kept him going. That's what kept him motivated. It was the gift that he got from Jesus that he knew he couldn't keep to himself. He had to give away to other people. So when life gets crazy, when life gets hard, when life gets confusing, remember your why. It's the fact that Jesus came and died for you, and he gave you a gift of life, one that we didn't deserve. That's the why. That's why even when the world is shutting down and things are crazy, that's why we keep sharing the message of Jesus with everybody around us. Never forget your why, regardless of what's going on in your life. And so to help kind of drive this home, because you're probably wondering, like, what do I do with all of this? How does this relate to me? Mary Jane's going to come up and she's going to help drive this home and give you some practical applications on how you can use this in your life.
Hey, what's up, Bayside students? I have 3 excellent reflections questions for you. So if you're doing this in a virtual setting where you're talking about your small group or you're just journaling this with yourself at home, think about these 3 things. They're really great questions. First one is, when's the last time you saw God at work? And how did that encourage you? So here's a fact. God's always at work. He never stops working. But we as busy people, we don't always notice that, or we don't always slow down enough to just really stop and think about that. So think about that. How has God been working in your life, and how can that encourage you and the people around you right now? And second of all, what circumstances are you in? What circumstance are you in that is an opportunity for a miracle? So sometimes we can look at our circumstance and go, man, that's an opposition, not an opportunity. But have the courage, have the bravery, have the perspective to shift and see the opportunity for a miracle in the midst of the current circumstances we're in. And third of all, what are you afraid of when it comes to sharing Jesus with others? Sometimes just claiming the reason why we're afraid of something can diminish the effect that has in our lives, so we can actually do the thing we want to do, which is share the goodness and the happiness and the joy that Jesus brings into our lives and the lives of others. So here's your takeaway for this week. All right, just do this one thing. Go ask someone you know who is a strong Christian how God has been working in their life, and let that encourage you and the people around you. Love you guys. See you next week. Tune in and stay Corona-free.
Hey, thanks so much for joining us tonight for week 3 of More Than a Building. If you haven't done so already, hit subscribe. Be sure to follow us over on Instagram at bayside.students. We've got tons of amazing content, and we would love for you to stay connected. Right now, many of you guys might be jumping into a group, and we'd love to have you stay connected through a group. And so right down in the comments, we're going to post a link, and over in the chat, we'll post that link as well. And if you're not connected to a group, or maybe you're not totally sure what you should do right now, go ahead and click that link, and you can request to be a part of a group today. Maybe you need prayer. We'd love to pray for you, or maybe you just want to be able to chat with one of our student pastors. Click the link provided, and we'd love to connect with you. That's all we've got tonight. We hope that you'll join us again next week, where we've got week 4 of More Than a Building.